It is 5 o'clock. Good evening. I will call this special meeting of the Richland County Board to order and ask the clerk to start us off by taking the roll.
Carroll. Miller.
Here.
Brewer. Kramer. McKee.
Here.
Renish. Hendricks.
Here.
Manning.
Here.
Gill.
Here.
Glassberger. Hardwick.
Here.
Woodhouse. Turk.
Here.
Cosgrove.
Here.
Frank.
Here.
Severson.
Present.
Williamson.
Here.
Cooey. Fleming. Brookins.
Here.
McGuire. You have 12 of 21 present. You have a forum.
All right, thank you very much. And would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So thank you all for taking the time to be here for this meeting. We don't have very much on the agenda. Are we in compliance with the open meetings law, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, Mr. Chair, the meeting's been properly noticed.
Thank you very much. We have the short 8-point agenda. I have a motion to approve that agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. McKee, second by Mr. Cosgrove to approve our agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. Item 6, as we're flying through here, approval of a resolution to enter into a settlement agreement with the Kroger Company and agree to the terms of Addendum 2 to the MOU allocating settlement proceeds.
Okay, so that is the sole purpose for this meeting this evening. So for those of you who are new to the board, years ago with the opioid crisis, there were agreements made, all 71 counties joined together and litigated against the large pharmaceutical companies essentially, and came to an agreement that was mutually beneficial to all counties based on formulas, population, and basically affect of opioids on the communities. And so in order to do that, there were signed agreements based on a number of factors. And so we have then been receiving opioid settlement funds. Now, some of those were in the original kind of bulk agreement. Others have still been in negotiation. And so some of them were in that original agreement and covered by that original agreement. And as those settlements come, we just receive those deposits, and others are one-off settlements and are added in. And that's what we have here tonight. So this Kroger settlement was not in that initial settlement and requires an addendum. So the terms of this are the exact same as all of the other agreements. So there has been no change in any of the terms. The language exactly matches that of earlier agreements. So WCA sent this out to us on July 22nd and said, okay, counties, we have to get this done. Everybody has to have it done and returned to us by August 12th, and if it's not, we all lose out on the money. And so that is why we're all in this position of having to have these special board meetings to ensure that we get these documents signed and scanned in and returned back to the law firm so that it all gets filed in a timely manner so that we do not lose access to this funding. So that's what you have before you. You have the addendum to the local MOU, which is the original MOU, same exact language. There's a memo that explains the settlement, and then there's a resolution. You will see that we will receive 0.218% of the overall settlement, which is a $1.4 billion settlement. It does require affirmative action from all 71 participating counties and 16 municipalities on or before August 12th. And then the proceeds of that will come sometime down the line. Again, we kind of never know when they're coming. We'll typically just get an email saying the settlement funds are on their way. And then I usually alert the treasurer's office, and then sometime shortly thereafter a deposit comes. Those monies are set aside into our opioid fund, and we have a task force that has determined now that we are utilizing that money within the county we're giving grants to local groups that have various uses for them to prevent and address opioid addiction and substance abuse. So that's kind of how it's being utilized at this point. And it's very restricted. The ways that these dollars can be used are very, very restricted and have very specific purposes. Any questions on that?
And is there a deadline of when the money needs to be spent by? You said we've already received some money and that's in that fund. Does that have to be spent by a certain date?
I don't believe that there's a deadline on these funds.
No, I think it's contemplated that, the opioid problem is not going away
Yeah.
anytime soon, and if there's a long-term use for the monies that the government can come up with.
Yep.
Mr. McKee?
How many of these are left? Oh, you don't know?
Because it was such a large, we don't know how many are left. It's kind of surprising how, this just comes out of nowhere, or all of a sudden I get an email and it's, okay, you're gonna get, $9,000, or you're gonna get $12,000. So they're just kind of popping up. If I went back and read the fine print in the original document, I still don't know if that would say exactly how many
Just wondering.
companies that they're,
I tried, as I was reviewing this, to picture the legal framework of it, and it's just staggering in its complexity. There's a reason the phrase is, don't make a federal case out of it. This would be why.
Mr. Gill?
Is there somebody in charge of tracking how the money is spent, or kind
Yes.
of watching that or whatever?
we have it set aside in a separate fund. So any opioid dollars that go out, it comes out of that very specific fund. And so it's absolutely tracked. Every single expenditure is tracked. We know who it went to and when it went there and how much that expenditure was.
Is it easy to spend that money? Is it, you gotta find people, or is it, I don't know how much?
Well, they're just now starting
Okay.
that process. We just approved the process to which those groups can apply
Oh, okay.
for those dollars. So we'll find out.
That's the HHS grant program that you authorized within the last couple meetings.
Yep.
Mr. McKee?
Will the sheriff's department, can they get some of this money?
I don't believe that they can.
Well, thus far, I believe the only program authorized is through HHS.
Yes.
Any other questions?
They refer to Kroger's, who's Kroger?
Kroger is a grocery store chain that has a pharmacy.
So the people that got the most attention were the pharmaceutical producers, but part of the claims in the opioid lawsuit were that the distributors, Walmart, other CVS, other pharmacies, were complicit in the explosion of opioid use. And so Kroger has a pharmacy section, and so through that is the way that they became liable.
So, so does Walgreens, so does CVS, so does Walmart, so does a list of others. Are the lawsuits, are we going to see settlements from these other
Already have.
pharmacies also?
We have seen from Walmart, we have
Okay.
seen from CVS, we have seen from Walgreens. I'd have to go back and look,
Okay,
but
they are going
we
through the
have
whole
seen
list
from
of-
many of those already, yes.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
There is a resolution relating to this that we'll be approving. Do we know what number that is, Mr. Clerk?
24-56.
24-56.
Okay, very good. It is rather lengthy. I don't know that we need the clerk to read it. It is pretty much identical to all the other ones we've approved like this. You have it in your packet. Anybody have any questions on the text of the resolution? If not, you ready to vote on it? All those in favor of this resolution?
Do we need a motion?
That's true, we do need a motion.
I will do
Thank you.
so.
Motion by Mr. Frank,
I'll second it.
second by Supervisor Fleming. Thank you. Now that we have a motion,
Detail.
all those in favor of the motion to approve this resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you all very much. Item 7 on our agenda was public comment. Do we have any members of the public here that wanted to comment on something before the board tonight? Anyone in person or online? we're down to item number 8.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Manning, second by Supervisor Fleming. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we are adjourned. Thank you all very much for coming.